Welcome to the Great Movie Channel Recaps. Today I will show you a dark comedy for 2017 titled To Pigeons. Spoilers. If you are new to this channel, subscribe now. In the city of London came on her panties. Both of them obviously denied the other's accusations, even commenting how ghosts couldn't possibly watch adult movies on the computer after they go to sleep. Very apart from each other, Berlin takes the chance to take a huge jump in the toilet and doesn't flush in the morning. This causes another argument. They blame each other for the surprise in the toilet, and Mel also thinks Hussein has been using her shampoo. This time their fight escalates to the point where Mel decides to break up with him, telling him to go to work and promising she won't be there when he returns. Orland comes out as soon as Mel is gone, incredibly happy at this turn of events. Today's pranks include cutting his nails and hiding the toenails under the pillow, urinating all over the clutter, cleaning his butt with a toothbrush, and reading Assange books and more. When Hussein comes back, he uses the glittery without suspecting anything. It is disgusted to find the toenails under his pillow. Sometime later, when Sunday comes to bring in more pot, Hussein tells him a very distorted version of the fight, claiming he was the one that broke up with Mel and she back to stay. He also thinks there may be a ghost in the apartment because the surprise he had found in the toilet couldn't be a woman's. Days continue to pass and Hussein keeps on using his things without knowing what Portland does to them. When he's gone, he cleans his ears with the toothbrush, drops not into the mouthwash, and lifts the bottle of pills Hussein has been taking because he continues to feel unwell. One night, or what is in the kitchen, smashing a bunch of aspirins and throwing them in the electric kettle. When Hussein wakes up and comes over to make some tea, Orland saves himself just in time by climbing on top of the covers, where he easily fits thanks to a skeletal body. He's getting more and more during these days, so before returning to his hiding spot, he comes closer to a sleeping Hussein and sniffs him. Then he draws a male member on the mystic near, messes with Assange digital schedule, and throws every single toilet paper roll out the window. Hussein has woken up in the morning by a phone call from his boss, and he tells him he won't go to work today because he feels awful, so he'll send in the schedule for him to cover it instead. Before he even gets to hang up, he finds himself rushing to the bathroom to throw up in the toilet. That morning he also gets a surprise delivery. It's a freezer that Orland ordered with Assange credit card. The delivery guys say they can't take it back because Hussein is a dummy that signed the sheet before even looking at what it is, so if he wants to send it back he must call the depot directly. Now the huge box sits in the middle of his living room, taking up a lot of space. After cleaning off the drawing on the mirror, Hussein discovers he's out of toilet paper, and since you can't go out because he said he called Sonny and asked him to bring him some, Sonny gets angry when Hussein is unhappy because the paper's into soft kind instead of being grateful, and tells him he needs to put himself together. Hussein says he will try. When Hussein starts feeling a bit better, he tries to call Mel, who won't answer him, and finally leaves the apartment. Again, Orland comes out and sees the freezer, so he starts dancing around the apartment in celebration of how well is messing up with Assange life is going. One night he gets even riskier and takes the blankets off his sleeping Hussein's body, then climb on the bed and cut his own hand with a knife, making a plea on the mattress in Hussein's body to make it look like he's been bleeding. He also grabs Hussein's phone and takes many pictures of his own member, which he sends to some of the contacts. The following morning Hussein finds the blood and gets worried about the possibility of cancer, so he calls a doctor to ask for an urgent appointment. At that moment he gets a call from his boss, who gives him an official warning for having sent him the wrong schedule. A couple of hours later his boss shows up at his apartment to demand an explanation on why Hussein sent him pictures of a male member. The same tries to deny it, but his boss doesn't believe him and fired him on the spot. As he goes back inside, Hussein finds the fridge open, water running in the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink, in the bath. Getting worried about intruders, he grabs his new trucks that moves the mattress off the bed and opens the closet but finds nothing. He also checked his phone and gets angry when he confirms the nasty pictures are there, so he grabs a knife and opens the freezer box. Afterwards he calls Mel to see if she was the one that bought it, which of course she denies, and Hussein also calls a locksmith to add extra locks to restore. When he's done he falls asleep on his chair with his 9 trucks and a knife in hand just in case Orlang comes out. Then after opening the fridge he tosses a piece of paper. Hussein running back to his hiding spot before Hussein wakes up and gets worried about intruders. When he finds the fridge open again, he searches the house, calling out for anyone there to show themselves, but finds nothing and decides to go to bed, weapons still in his hands. Orland comes out again after reading for a while. He says hi to the patients. His dialogue for the birds this time tells us that he and his girlfriend weren't able to go back to their old house, so they had to stay at a B&B, but his girlfriend was getting sick and this could be good for the baby, who was due in 3 weeks. Orland cries at the memory before going into hiding again. The following morning Hussein talks to his mom and tries to make her understand that the not a picture she got word from. He is still feeling unwell and gets even more frustrated when he finds out his book is missing some pages. His apartment starts to get messy again, and Hussein also begins talking to the pigeons, mentioning they're the only company he has. Not wanting to cook, he fills the freezer with frozen pizzas, and moving is getting difficult. difficult as well, so he takes this DVD was bedroom so he can stay in bed. Orland stays hidden under his bed and eats the cookies. Hussein leaves around one night. He even goes as far as grabbing a knife and thinking of stabbing Hussein, but stops himself just in time. Being unemployed means Hussein is quickly running out of money, so he calls his parents for help, but they only tell him to get a job. When Sunny visits in again, he's surprised by how nasty the apartment has become, even worse than the old days, but Hussein isn't in the mood for chatting. As always, he tells him to drop the pot and leave. Sunny is hurt and angry by this attitude coming from someone that he considered a friend but doesn't ask. One afternoon while he's in bed watching some exercise videos, Hussein accidentally drops the remote control on the floor, and when he reaches out to grab it, he discovers organ under his bed. There's no point in hiding anymore, so Borland comes out and starts insulting Hussein until he has him cornered in the bathroom. He starts explaining that Hussein had been the agent. They cancelled their deal on an apartment, leaving them on the streets. The stress of the situation because both the baby and his girlfriend to die during birth, and he blames Hussein for, but instead of apologizing or showing sympathy, Hussein tells him he was just following orders, so he's as much of a victim as Orland's. This angers Orland, who proceeds to close the door behind him as he thinks of the right punishment for Hussein. Afterward, Orland cleans the entire apartment, shaves off his beard and puts on one of his Saint's expensive suits which don't fit in very well. He also puts out some bread crumbs on top of the freezer in the window for the pigeons, and after saying goodbye to them, he finally leaves the building, taking with him 2 big bags of trash. Meanwhile, back in the apartment, the pigeons eat the crumbs on top of the freezer, which has been sealed up with tape, while Hussein calls his mom to tell her he's been stuck inside the freezer by some crazy old man and he needs our help. However, his mom doesn't take him seriously and hangs up on it. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.